Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode in my series of Under the Magnifying Glass. And as you guys know, I'm doing these series to show you guys kind of what I do with my motors that I build and the detailing that I put into them and everything. Just because I know when I first started building models, especially when I started getting into detail painting and all of these things, I really wanted to get an idea of what do I do with my motors? How do I make them look better? So that's what these little mini episodes are going to be. So this is the motor today that I'm going to be showing you is the motor that I'm using in my current build, which is the 51 Henry J. Gasser. And I know in the beginning of that build I said that I wasn't going to be using the kit motor, but I actually am using the kit motor. And this motor, after doing some research on some of the model forums and stuff like that, this is a Ford 427 motor that is in the car. So just to kind of give you guys a rundown, the block is painted Ford engine red. Ford engine blue. Wow, I think I'm colorblind. So the block is painted Ford engine blue, has a dull coat on it, and then it has a little bit of weathering, some, washes on it and everything, just kind of make it dirty, make it look like it's got a little bit of oil on it and everything like that. So the transmission and bell housing and everything is painted to match. Then the valve covers and the intake up here, those are painted with an aluminum metallizer. And then so is the headers, exhaust headers. They are also painted with an aluminum metallizer. And they're buffed out and everything, so they'll look good. Then the supercharger is painted with, I believe, I'm trying to remember what that color is now. I believe it's a gunmetal. It's a Vallejo acrylic gunmetal, and that's what that is painted with. So it's just kind of a various different metals, and one way to make your motor kind of stand out and seem like it's detailed pretty good is to, give your models, the different parts of them, give them a different shade. So like this is kind of a darker shade, than the other pieces that are on there, and it just kind of gives variation and depth to your model and allows some of the different parts to stand out. So that'll definitely help, give a little bit of detail look to your model. Now on this one, I have added spark plug wiring, and these are spark plug wiring and the little boots here. And then also I have on the front here the distributor, and all of these are ProTech parts that can be ordered from the ProTech website. Pretty much all of the detail parts on here, like my previous motor, is all ProTech. On the front, I have aftermarket pulleys and belt. It's one way to really make your, the kit belts are not bad, but they're usually thick, and so they just don't look that realistic. So these aftermarket belts and pulleys really add some detail to the motor. These are the kit. Let me move this. This wire here is what's going to go to the ignition coil. I'm actually going to use a Mallory ignition box, and that's what that's going to go to. These are the kit headers, but what I did is I modified them here. In the kit, this part down here where the exhaust exited out was kind of like a trumpeting. It just opened up really wide. I thought it looked really fake, honestly. So I took a little bit of aluminum tubing and I made my own little tip on there. And so you can see there's how it looks in the back. I just staggered 2 different sizes of aluminum. This is a wider aluminum tubing, and then a little bit smaller one that fit right over the edge of the exhaust header there, and it actually looks like it fits perfectly. Then one thing I had to do, because the front detailing on this motor was just a little bit weird and wasn't that accurate, right down here I added, this is the fuel pump, I added this part on. All of this part right here that is painted aluminum or metal, this is all added on, and then I used on the front of it right here, those are some photo etch little bolts that I put on there, and so that adds a little bit of realism to it. Then we've got the ProTech braided line with the red and blue anodized fittings on it, and that is running right up here to the fuel block. So it runs from the fuel pump right up to the fuel block, and then that is a scratch built fuel block. I used some really small styrene rod and just cut a little square out, and then did another little photo etch bolt on the front of that. Then if you look here on this side of the motor, you can see right up there underneath, or on top of the blower here, these are the individual fuel lines. Now these are really tiny. That is the smallest braided line that ProTech makes. It is 0.018, I believe. And it is a tiny, tiny, tiny little braided line. I mean, you can see this is a toothpick, and in comparison, the tips of that are just really small. And so what I did is I ran each of those in there, and let me bring this in a little bit closer so you can see here. Okay, so you can see each one of these is ran right in there, and then I'm using a new product that ProTech has brought out. It is their hex fittings. It's the 0.024 hex fittings, and these are a photo etched hex fitting that's made to fit on this tiny 0.018 braided line. And so there wasn't a hex fitting for that previously, so now he's got a hex fitting, so I'm using that on there, and it really adds a little bit of detail. And then you can see here on this side, I've got the spark plug wires going. I've got the wire looms on it. And then as far as the rest of the motor goes, on this side I've also got the same treatment to the exhaust header, and everything else is pretty much the same. If you look right down here, you can see I've got the oil filter right down in there. So added that to it because there wasn't an oil filter on the kit, or it didn't come with an oil filter, so I found one in the parts box and added that to it. And then what's going to happen here is, like I said, this wire right here that you see running up, that's going to come down, and that will attach to the ignition box that I'm going to be using. And then off of the fuel pump here, I'm going to have another braided line that will run off the side, and that will run down. And there is a moon tank on the front of the Henry J. So that's going to run down to the moon tank fuel tank. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all the wiring that I'm going to do on this one. So anyway, that is my motor that I've got going on here, and hopefully, you know, whether you're building the same model or just building any other model, maybe this will give you guys a little bit of a look at what to do and maybe help you out with building yours. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm pretty much done with the Henry J, so my next video will probably be a final video on that. So until next time, keep building those awesome models, and I will talk to y'all later.